to pages 8 and 9 in your hardcover Voyages book. Okay, so we have done 3 units in grammar so far, and we have been talking about nouns. Okay, and what is a noun? Let's review it because we've kind of been sporadic how we've done this. Okay, everybody should be listening. All right, Lucas, what's a noun? Person, place, thing. I heard someone say or idea. So a person, Lucas, a place, St. Joseph's School, a thing, a table, an idea, happiness. Okay? Person, place, thing, or idea. We also talked about singular nouns and plural nouns. What is a singular noun? What does that mean?
Like here.
One thing, one person, place, thing, or idea. What does it mean if something is plural? More than one person, place, thing, or idea. How do we form those plural nouns? Usually add an S, but we also found out there are lots of other things, other ways to form plurals, right? Adding ES, changing Y to I, adding ES, okay? All right. Then we talked about, after we talked about singular and plural, we talked about concrete and abstract nouns. So what is the difference between a concrete noun and an abstract noun? Mary.
A concrete noun is like something you might touch. An abstract is like something you can't really see.
Great. So concrete is something you can touch. You can see, feel, hear. All right? Abstract, you cannot see, hear, feel. So an example of a concrete noun would be podium. An example of an abstract noun would be hope. Okay? All right. So those are concrete and abstract nouns. Today we're going to talk about we're going to start talking about the different roles a noun can play in a sentence, basically. Okay? So nouns, so today we're talking about the fact that nouns can be subjects of sentences and they can be subject complements of sentences. Okay? So what is that? What is a subject? What is a subject complement? And how do you find it, right? So if you look at the top of page 8, it says right there, a noun can be the subject of a verb. The subject tells what the sentence is about. In this sentence, Hope Diamond is the subject. So everybody should be looking at their book and following along, reading in their book. You read silently while I'm reading out loud. And here's the sentence. The Hope Diamond was originally from India. So what is it that we're talking about? We're talking about the Hope Diamond. So that is the subject of the sentence.
Oh no, I lost my page.
Okay? So you should take out your grammar notebook, and I'm going to write down a couple of notes about the subject of a sentence. Okay? So the subject.
It's getting cheesy.
No, you may not.
Okay.
May not what? Oh.
The subject equals what the sentence is about. Aiden, could you please stop doing that? So, like I said, you should take out your notebook. notebook. And in either your grammar section of your 3 subject notebook or just a grammar notebook, you should write down subject, right? Now, I'm going to just tell you, give you a couple of hints about where you can find the subject. Now, in English, there are a lot of exceptions to rules. So I never say always, but usually, where can you find the subject of a sentence? Usually. Mia? Yeah, at the beginning of the sentence. So I'm going to put usually found at the beginning of a sentence. Okay, and then I'm also going to say that it usually comes before the verb. Okay, usually comes before the verb. Can you guys tell me what a verb is? Jax.
It's like an action.
Yeah, exactly. It's an action. So sometimes those are easier to find because you look for the action. And then if you want to know what the subject is, you could ask yourself, well, who or what's doing this action, right? So that's a way to find out. So I could say, ask who or what is doing the action. That's how you find it.
What?
Ask who or what is doing the action. I'm lucky. My daughter's been teaching in a first grade classroom, and she's a senior in college, but she just spends right now. She's not student teaching, but she spends 1 day a week, and she teaches some lessons, and she's telling me how she has to be like super particular with her handwriting because they're learning how to write letters, or they want, to be accurate. They probably learned some in kindergarten, but anyway, I was just thinking, I guess I'm lucky that I'm not teaching first grade, right? She's kind of sloppy. Okay, so that's how you find the subject. Who or what is doing the action? All right? So, any questions about subjects right now? Okay, we are going to practice out loud using the book. We're going to practice finding the subject of a sentence, and we're going to kind of go around the room, and you each take one, okay, of the exercises in the hardcover book. Now, here's the deal. Just because it's not your turn to do one out loud doesn't mean you zone out. A good way to kind of still be engaged, you're learning if you're engaged. A good way to know if you're, to be engaged still is for you to be thinking, what would you answer? What answer would you give? And then you can figure out, and then if you're correct, then you're like, okay, I'm getting this. Or if you're never correct, you're like, oh, I think I need this explained to me more. Okay? All right. So you should be looking at your book as well, following along, knowing where we are, and thinking about what you would answer. So we're going to just start kind of like at the back of the room over here, and we're going to go up and down the rows. We're back and forth the rows.
On the same page?
Yep, we're on page 8, exercise 1. Okay, and we're going to start with Lucas in the back corner, and he's going to read the whole sentence. So read the whole sentence out loud, and then we are identifying the subject of each sentence. So know that it's what the sentence is about, usually found at the beginning of a sentence, usually comes before the verb. So you can ask yourself who or what is doing the action. Okay, so Lucas is going to do the first one. Yeah, Grady.
I never brought a notebook.
Did you write down the notes?
Yeah, no, he means the hardcover. Like, I grabbed it wrong.
Oh,
Here,
okay.
you could use mine.
No. Go get the right one. Okay, go ahead, Lucas, nice and loud. Go ahead and read that sentence and tell us what you think the subject is. What? Nope, it's instruction time right now. Okay, so Lucas, go ahead with number 1.
A merchant?
Yep. So read the sentence.
He did.
Oh, you read the whole sentence?
Yeah, you were talking to Ellen.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So the subject is?
A merchant purchased a large diamond.
So what's the subject? It's just going to be one word, a noun.
Merchant?
Yep, merchant. Okay, that's the subject. All right, thank you. Number 2, Avery.
King Louis
That's 4.
14.
Yeah, good.
14 of France bought this magnificent stone in 1768.
So what is the subject of the sentence? So the subject is what the sentence is about, usually found at the beginning of the sentence, comes before the verb, and you can ask yourself who or what is doing the action. What? So, so the exact words though is King Louis the 14th, okay? So the subject of number 2 is King Louis the 14th. Okay? Number 3, Mary.
Jewelers cut the rare diamond with great care. The subject would be jewelers.
Yep, jewelers is the subject of number 3. Number 4, Emily.
The diamond disappeared in 1792 during the French Revolution. The diamond?
Yep, diamond is the subject of number 4. Number 5, Fred.
Henry Philip Hope acquired the beautiful stone in the 18th. Henry Philip.
Henry Philip, it will do his whole name. Henry Philip Hope. That was his name. Yep, that's the subject. Yes, Jack. Nope, not during this time, okay? Okay, Natalie, number 6.
Many people were owners of.
We are 6 on exercise 1.
Oh, this is. An affluent woman bought the diamond to help unite her.
So what is the subject of that sentence?
The subject is
is what?
Someone bought the diamond.
Okay, so you're gonna take, the subject is going to be a word in the sentence.
The diamond.
So so the subject is gonna be what the sentence is about, usually found at the beginning, usually comes before the verb,
A woman.
and it's asking who or what's doing the action. Woman, yep, because the woman bought the Hope Diamond. So woman is the subject of the sentence, okay? All right, Maddie.
This is England.
Yep.
Well, the Queen owned it until 1947. This is Evelyn Walsh McQueen.
Yep, that is the subject. That Mrs. Evelyn Walsh McLean. Number 8, Isaiah.
The precious stone changed hands in 1949. Stone is the subject.
Stone is the subject. The stone is what changed, right? Changed hands. So is everybody should be following along, right? Thinking about what you would be answering. Okay, Maddie, number 9.
Harry Winston, a New York diamond merchant, bought the diamond.
Harry Winston is the subject, because Harry Winston is who bought, right? Okay, number 10, Ellen.
The merchant displayed the diamond in a tour of jewels around the United States. Sorry, I'm getting confused.
So you're looking for the subject of the sentence. So the subject is what the sentence is about, and it's usually found at the beginning, before the verb. And if you ask who or what is doing the action, which is the verb, that should give you the subject.
Is it about the jewels?
Is it about what?
Is the subject the jewels?
No. So what's the action in the sentence, Ellen? What's happening? What's the verb, the action?
Tour?
So an action, think about you could get up and do it, okay? So no, tour is a noun, it's a thing. You did a tour. Okay.
Displayed?
Displayed is the verb. Now, who or what is doing the displaying?
The merchant?
The merchant. So the merchant is the subject of the sentence. Merchant is the subject. You might need to look for the action and say who or what is doing it, okay? All right, Aaron, number 11.
The Canadian National Exhibit.
Did you read the whole thing?
Oh, it's a lot. The Canadian National
Exhibition.
Exhibition also exhibited the jewels for a time. The Canadian National
Exhibition. Yep. So the Canadian National Exhibition is the subject of the sentence. That because the action is exhibited. That's so who exhibited the Canadian National Exhibition exhibited, right? So that is the subject of the sentence. All right, Celine, number 12.
The Hope Diamond was donated to the Smithsonian Institution in 1958. Hope Diamond.
Yeah, Hope Diamond is the subject because the action is was donated. What was donated? The Hope Diamond. So Hope Diamond is the subject of the sentence. Okay, number 13, Kennedy. Smithsonian is the subject. The verb is features. Who features or what features the Smithsonian does. That's the subject of the sentence. Okay, 14. Isaac? Exercise 1, page 8. Did you just read 14? Okay, so what's the subject of that sentence? So look at the notes that you wrote down. Tourists, yes, is the subject. Who view? Who does the viewing? The tourists are doing the viewing, right? So the tourist is the subject of the sentence. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, so that kind of took a little time. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to give you a homework. Cooper, can I look in your practice book here? Okay, so for homework, you should do practice book 9, numbers 1 through 10.
When does this due?
Tomorrow. Practice book 9, numbers 1 through 10. And you are, oh, wait a minute. It tells you to find the subject complement as well. You don't need to do that. Here's what I want. Let's look at the directions on page 9. It says underline each subject once, underline each subject complement twice. Not all subject sentences have a subject complement. Here's what I would like you all to do. You can either underline or circle or highlight the direction that says underline each subject once. Okay? And that is all that I want you to do on 1 through
Wait, what page is it?
1 through 10. Page 9. Okay? So all you are doing is that first direction on practice book page 9 that says underline each subject once. Okay, so underline it, circle it, highlight it, and you're doing it for 1 through 10.
Is that all of the homework?
Yep, that's all your homework. Oh, and then I'm going to come around and pick up those sheets. Yes. Now you can go to the bathroom.